What is up, Cultivate students? How y'all feeling tonight? Come on. Come on. I saw some of y'all dancing, grooving. Some of y'all starting to get a little bit loose during worship. Who enjoyed worship? Was worship not on point tonight? Come on. That's all you got? You can't give it up for the worship band? I'm not going to move forward until you give it up. Come on. Come on. Come on. But hey, guys, look, tonight is a special night. I'm excited because we have a guest speaker in the house. Well, I mean, technically he's not a guest. He's always here, but you may not notice him. But Jordan Graves is in the house. Most of you guys may not know him. He's typically hanging out in the back. Jordan leads our media team. About 3 years ago, I somehow conned Jordan into coming here and helping out, and he had no idea that one day he'd be leading like everything. So for some of you guys that work on his team, you know how awesome of a person he is. You know how awesome of a job he runs. Everything you see that's going on here tonight, your lights, everything, your screens, that's all done by his team. So look, can you guys do me a favor and stand to your feet? I need you to be excited. I need you to show Jordan this is his first time ever speaking. So look, stand up. I need to hear you guys give it up for Jordan Graves. Come on, guys, give it up. Woo-woo!
I know him!
Thanks, guys. Man, y'all making me feel welcome. Can we show a little bit of love to Pastor Adam? Come on, can we scream for Pastor Adam, please? I'll tell you guys, I'm so thankful to be here. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to do this. As he said, this is like I haven't done anything like this. I haven't done anything this crazy, this insane. And so for me, this is crazy. Okay, so before I get started, though, I want to show a little appreciation for our pastors, okay? So just follow me along for just 1 second. So we have two awesome lead pastors here. We have Brandon Matthews and Brandon Doss. Yeah, show some love. Show some love to our lead pastors. I'm so thankful for each one of them. Brandon Doss is awesome because for me, he's like a mentor. He's helped me with a lot of things. And then Brandon Matthews is a very close friend. You know, I love talking like technology. You know, as I'm saying, I'm kind of the media guy, so I love talking about technology, cell phones, and so I love being able to talk with him. And so, but before I continue, Avery Wall is holding on to something for me, and she's going to give this to me. Now, there's a little something that you guys might not know about our lead pastors. So, our lead pastors once were in a band. They were in a band with another guy, our worship leader, Matt Lauderdale. Everyone stare at Matt Lauderdale. They were in a worship band together. So today, this afternoon, I got here really early, and I was helping clean out some stuff. And I happened to find something very interesting, if you'll give me just a moment. So I actually happened to find a brand new copy of their CD out there. It is still wrapped. Now, the person who screams the last can take this home tonight. So go! Hey. Voting is done. Shay won.
You will hear about this when I go back to college.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Three Driven Nails is the name of their band. Look them up on iTunes. Their music is awesome. But I love, hey guys. But I love our lead pastors. I love our worship pastor. Even though I just embarrass them to death, I love them. And also, I'm very thankful for our student pastor, Adam West. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about Adam West that you guys might not know. Okay, so Adam West is a close friend of mine, almost like a brother. Now, a lot of you guys have that type of relationship because he messes with you a lot. And so me and Adam, he messes with me a lot too. We get into like sibling rivalries like all the time. And so one of the ways that me and him got into a little bit of a sibling rivalry this last year was me and him were in a fantasy football league together this year. And so we played each other. For those of you who do not know what fantasy football is, what it is it's a game. You take up stats from different players. You predict who's going to be the best players, and you try to predict better than the person you're playing against. So we get all the way up to the week before the game, and we decide, hey, let's make this a little bit more interesting. You know that's where things go wrong, right? So anyway, we decide, all right, let's make a bet on this. Not only let's make a bet, let's make a slap bet. So for those of you who do not know, who are not in love with How I Met Your Mother like I am, a slap bet is where you and someone else, you make a bet, and the loser gets slapped by the other one whenever that person chooses. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I'm not slapping him tonight.
I got my phone out for nothing.
But I do just want to let Adam know that the champ's here, and that slap is coming, son. The champ is here.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
If y'all broke out into a yes chant, that would make me so happy. Anyway. All right, so let's get started. I just want to tell you guys I'm so thankful for Adam. I'm thankful for all of the leadership lessons I've learned from him as well. And one of the ways I've gotten to learn a lot from Adam is that we have taken, he has started these leadership meetings that we are a part of. So every month we get together and he teaches us a little bit about how to better lead you guys. And so inside these leadership meetings, we have a lot of fun and we have a lot of interesting things happen. So this last month, we had our meeting and we're sitting there. And all of a sudden, Addie, his daughter, is playing right in front of us. She hands me a book. It wasn't even a full book. It was like 3 pages out of the book. And so all of a sudden, I hear Sam Durr right here in the front row, people. Sam Durr, all of a sudden, he's like, hey, can you rap that? Of course I can. I'm not saying I'm the best rapper in the world. I'm just saying Vanilla Ice and Eminem, they just need to step out the way. I mean, the real Slim Shady just stood up. So anyway. So I go through my rap, and it was awesome. And then Adam, knowing Adam, he's always trying to one-up you, right? And so Adam decides that he is going to have his shot at it. Now, what he does, though, is he doesn't just take the 5 pages out of my book that I had. No, he brought out his own book. I guess he had it since first grade. So he has this book, and he just starts going off. Well, he didn't go off in a good way. I present to you guys Exhibit A.
Mr. Smith, who lives next 10, and Mr. Smith, who lives next door, will say that things are great. Can you teach him more? And then I'll teach him bark and beg and wag your dog and shake your leg and wash your ears and wash your toes and scratch your head and blow that nose. And Mr. Smith will tell Miss Brown this is the smartest dog in town. But I won't stop there, no, not at all. I'll teach him big, I'll teach him small and fat and thin and small or tall and dark and dark and day and night. And all, and Mrs. Brown will come over and ride away. She'll say, this dog is learning to chase the cat and climb the tree and things like that. And then we'll give him more to see and eat your food and follow me while you're up to 43. I'll teach him red and blue and green.
What did you guys think of that? I mean, I just appreciate the fact that at least he tried. It wasn't great, but at least he tried. Hey. Anyway, so let's get this message started. So tonight's message, we are going to call this Sharing God 101. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about sharing God to our friends, our family, and specifically we're going to kind of go over some of the basics, but we're going to look at 3 reasons why we do not share God's message to others. And then we're going to look at 3 examples of people who overcame that and how they can be an example to us. All right, so our first reason that we do not share God is because I'm afraid to speak. You're probably like, duh? Like, of course, like, I am scared to death. Like, I could never talk to people. And I'm that way too, you guys. Now, this doesn't bother me quite as much, but like, You get me like one-on-one with someone, oh, I'm just there like I have nothing to say, I have nothing to do. I don't know what to do in that moment. But if we look at the Bible, we will see examples of people who also dealt with this. So for you guys, if you ask a question like, I don't share because I'm afraid to speak, another person we can see is that Moses was also scared. So I'm afraid to speak, well, so was Moses. So Moses, for you guys who don't know all about Moses' story, Moses was a guy in the Bible. He was the leader of the Israelites right when they left Egypt. So all of God's people are part of Egypt. They're slaves, basically, to the Egyptians. So while they are slaves, all of a sudden, Moses, he comes back. He had been part of Egypt. He left. He came back. And he tells Pharaoh, hey, let my people go. Let my people go. And so Pharaoh says no. All the plagues happen. And then all of a sudden he says, all right, get out of here. Take your God and go. And so the Israelites leave. As soon as they get to the Red Sea, God parts the waters. They make it across on dry land, get to the other side. God closes the waters back where the Egyptians can't catch them. So now they're on the other side. Moses, he's been part of this whole thing. He's been like, all right, I'm good. I'm ready. Let me, he's kind of like Alan says, he's, running into the fire with like a water pistol. And so, but now they're on the other side. Things have calmed down. And he's like, what do I do now? And then God, he has this conversation with God. And so if we look at Exodus 4, we'll actually see part of this conversation. And so it said, but Moses pleaded with the Lord, "O Lord, I'm not very good with words. I have never been, and I'm not now. Even though you have spoken to me, I get tongue-tied and my words get tangled." Then the Lord asked Moses, "What makes a person's mouth? Who decides whether people speak or do not speak, hear or do not hear, see or do not see? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will be with you as you speak. I will instruct you in what to say." So right there, we look at that, and automatically, there's the answer. Like, God's telling Moses, hey, don't you worry about coming up with the words. I'm going to give you the words. Okay, don't worry about, the fact that, you get tongue-tied. Some people said he even had a speech impediment. And God told him, hey, don't worry about that. Don't let that hold you back, because I'm going to give you the words to say. And then also, what we learn from God is that, he'll give us also not only the words to say, but he'll also give us, he'll let the people who are hearing our message receive it. He'll help work their ears as well. So that's our first thing, right? The first reason I don't share is because I'm afraid to speak. So now, our second reason that we don't share God's message is because I'm too young. So I know I'm kind of an adult, not really. I'm 24 years old. And so for me, I don't view myself as an adult. I view myself as a college kid, because that's what I am. I'm on my 6th year of college, but I am a college kid. And so for me, that is I kind of deal with that all the time. I'm working with people all the time who are older than me. I mean, most of my friends, most of the people I'm around all the time, they're a lot older than me. And so, when I try to talk to them about God, automatically they're like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're too young. Or they try to discredit you for what you're going to say. Or the worst part is the people that you know, and you've known them your whole life. And those are the people that, it's especially hard to, whether it's your siblings, your cousins, your parents, a teacher, because they've seen you, how you were when you were 5, 10 years old. And they're like, what does this person have to say about this? Well, there's actually a verse that's kind of related to that in Luke. Luke 4:24, it says, "But I tell you the truth, no prophet is accepted in his own hometown." What that means is that, it's hard sometimes to understand, or it's hard for people to listen to you sometimes because they've seen you as you were a kid. They've seen you when you messed up. They've seen your struggles, and it's hard. But if we also look at the Bible, we see another person that also dealt with this. And so that person was actually Timothy. So if we say, I don't share because I'm too young, well, so was Timothy. So was Timothy. Now, if you guys read in the couple books, 1st and 2nd Timothy, there's actually 2 books, and what they are, they're letters. They're letters from Paul to Timothy. And inside those letters, Paul is kind of instructing Timothy. He's kind of giving him some advice. And he's giving kind of 2 different types of advice. One type of advice he's giving him is like, he's talking to him about what it means to be a Christian. He's kind of giving him like a Christianity 101, just kind of breaking it down. And he's also teaching him how to be a leader. And so if we, if we really read through that, we learn so many lessons. But one of those verses in there is 1 Timothy 4:12. And 1 Timothy 4 says, it says, do not let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, and in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. So if we look at that, I mean, the very basic lesson is right there. Don't let anyone think less of you because you're young. I mean, it's just simple. If you're constantly, have in your mind, like, I'm just too young, like, that's my cop-out, basically, then nothing can be done. But that second half of that verse, though, is key. Again, let me read it for you guys. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in the way you love, in faith and in purity. So no matter if you're young, no matter if you say the wrong things, no matter what, as long as you are an example in those ways, God's going to help your message get received. And to me, that's so important because, there's so many verses in the Bible. When Jesus left, he told us that, we had to go and we had to make disciples all across the world. And so that's our charge as Christians. That's the number one rule that we have to follow is we have to go and make other disciples. We have to replicate ourselves. We learned a lot this last month during our Set the Tone series, we learned a lot about what it means to be a leader. Part of being a leader is bringing people along with you on the ride. And so for me, though, me being, young 24-year-old, I'm still looking at like some of your student leaders that you have here, and I'm seeing an example from them. So a couple of our leaders, like we have Avery Wall, we have Daniel Creekmore, they've stepped up here and they've done this. And I can't imagine, I'm 24, I can't imagine them at like 16, 17 years old doing that. Oh gosh, that would have been horrible. But, they've been a great example for you guys. You have people like Shay and Alexis who, Shay has really turned his life around for God, and he's, taken the gift that God given him, the gifts that he has gotten from God, and he's come up here and he's talking up here. And then you have like Alexis, who she's doing the same thing. And, she's back there right now leading that team. Like she's leading like 4 other people, doing all that type of stuff. And, I'll tell you guys, like I'm not the smartest guy in the world. That stuff's complicated. And she's leading that and she is being a great example. And then, you even have Bailey. So Bailey right now, she's starting to build a connections team. And what that connections team is to communicate to you guys, if it's been a while since you've been here, if you're first time, she's here to talk to you guys. And, these are young leaders that you guys have right here as examples. They're an example to me. And so I feel like if we take that verse, and we really live it out, that no matter what we say, no matter how we mess up, no matter how I mess up tonight, I hope that my message rings true with you guys because of the things I say, but also because of the way I live, the way I love in my faith and in my purity. I hope that I'm an example to you guys, and I hope that you guys will take that verse and be an example to others. So we went over our first 2 things, right? Our first thing was, I'm afraid to speak. My second thing is, well, I'm too young. Our third thing that holds us back from sharing God's message is that my past is holding me back. So I don't know about you guys, but I know I've dealt with a lot of struggles. I've dealt with a lot of things that held me back from not only sharing God's message, but just being a follower of God. You know, the two things that automatically come to mind are, the first thing is sin. Like, we have sins, we make mistakes. And, you know, a lot of us have a little bit of pride where we say, okay, I'm not going to be part of this church. I got to fix my life first. I got to get this sin out the way before I come to church and before I be part of the church, because I don't want to be, you know, in this sin and, you know, then the church just reject me, right? And so, you know, so that's one thing we struggle with. And another thing that we struggle with is that, you know, it's just the struggles of everyday life, you know, whether you had family members that, you know, abandon you, friends that abandon you, whether you had death in your family. And all those things, you know, times when you just, you know, you cried out to God like, hey, please fix this. Like, I'm tired of dealing with this. Please fix this. And then God doesn't fix it. And you're like, all right, well, he didn't fix it. So, you know, I don't believe him because he didn't fix it. So therefore he's not real. And that's the type of things that we say in our lives. However, if we really start to read the Bible, we really start to understand that God's not usually going to fix just like the one thing that you're asking him to fix. God usually is going to fix everything. But the only way to let him fix everything is if you surrender everything to him. If you surrender everything that you have, all your struggles and all the good things in your life, you have to surrender those things to him first before he can fix, you know, not only can he fix that one thing, but he'll fix your entire life. And so, you know, so the thing that holds us back, our past holding us back, you know, the answer to that really is that Jesus is perfecting our future. That's really our answer to that last thing, is that Jesus is perfecting our future. And so I want to take a moment. I want to go invite the band back up. They're just going to play for a moment. They're going to just play softly in the background. Nothing weird's going to happen. But I just kind of want to finish that thought for you guys, though. So the lesson to learn out of that is that, you know, Christ gave up a perfect life, and he gave up all that for a sinner's death. He gave up perfection, and he took the opposite of perfection, like the glory that he should have gotten from that perfection, and instead he took a sinner's death. He took a murderer's death, literally, so that we would not take that. So before any of the struggles we had, before any of the problems that we had, Jesus wiped all that away. If we look in Revelation 21:4, it says, he will wipe every tear from our eyes, and there will be no more death, or sorrow, or crying, or pain. All these things are gone forever. That's the thing you get when you accept God into your life. You know, you'll still have struggles right now. You'll still fight the things you have right now. But when you go to be with God, when you commit your life now to him, not only are you committing your life, you know, to him now, but, you know, your future. I mean, he's perfecting your future. He is making it where you can be with him forever. And I want to tell you guys where I learned this lesson from. So a lot of you guys, y'all don't know, some of y'all don't even know me, but a lot of y'all don't even know my family. So my family, my mom, she's actually here, and I'm so grateful for that. I have a father and I have a brother. And so my brother, he's 8 years older than me. And my brother, he's kind of like the ultimate big brother. Like, always was like dragging me around as a kid, like let me follow him, let me do things with him. And so one year we decided to go on vacation. So we go up to Pigeon Forge, and we do a bunch of fun things up there. And I remember one day, me and Mom, we were doing something, we were playing putt-putt golf. So we'd go do that, my dad and my brother, they go, and they decide to ride some mopeds. So they go, they ride the mopeds, and me and Mom, we're back at the camper. It's been hot, it's been a long day. We're tired. So I'm just sitting there, I'm looking out the window. All of a sudden, I see a park ranger truck come up. Comes right in front of the camper, stops. I see my dad hop out, runs to the door, and he says, Jason's dead. Jason died. So, right there, my older brother, I was 9 years old. My brother was 17. He died. And, we didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. But I asked my parents after that happened, where did Jason go? What happened to Jason? And my mom told me, well, he went to heaven. He went to be with God. As I got older, I understood what that meant. Understood, who Jesus was. Understood who God was. And I understood what it meant to follow God. I found this verse in 1 Timothy that says to be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. And I knew that my brother lived that out. He lived that out. I don't remember him ever giving a sermon, ever preaching, ever talking about God, but I know the way that he lived for God in everything he did. So I want to challenge you guys, okay? There's a couple different groups here I'm kind of talking to, okay? Some of you guys are Christians. Some of you guys are following God, but you might not be quite following Him with everything. You might not be following Him in everything you do. And for those people, I really want to challenge you guys to just, everything you do, to live out that verse. To follow God in what you say. To follow God in the way you live. To follow God in your love. Follow God in your faith. Follow God in all the purity that you have. And then for you guys that are not believers, I just want to challenge you guys. Just accept God. Just accept Him, because God has given me so much. It's not what He's giving me now. It's not about what He's giving me forever, but just God He's just been there for me. He's supported me. He's helped me. So if we don't mind, let's bow our heads, let's close our eyes. And so, God, I just ask you, please, let's surrender. Lord, I just give my heart to you right now. I've been following God since I was 9 years old. God, I give it back to you. I give it to you again because that's the type of surrender I have to have. I have to surrender my life to you every day. And I just ask that you would please, for me, for the other leaders here, for the people who do not say they're Christians, that you would just accept us, give us salvation. If anyone prayed that part of that prayer, please raise your hand. We would love to pray with you this week. And for us leaders, I ask that we would take that charge, that we would live that verse out, that we would commit God in what we say, that we would commit to God in the way